Hey guys, my name is Matsumo, and welcome to your episode of Monday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming-related questions, and then I'll give my humble opinion on them. To get the formalities out of the way real quick, if you'd like to submit your own question that can be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below, or by sending me a Facebook or Twitter message. The first question that comes from Matthew, and it is, do you agree with Shroud that Siege isn't casual enough, and that it's one of the things holding back the game? So I was not aware that this was something that Shroud said. I don't keep track of everything that he talks about, and so I did some digging to hear this quote myself. I'm assuming what you're referring to is that Get Flanked just made a video about this. Get Flanked is a great Siege YouTuber, and I agree with pretty much everything that he talked about. Rainbow Six Siege is a very difficult game to get involved with, and it feels like as time goes on, it gets harder and harder, and there's really nothing about it that does appeal to a more casual player base. Now, for a lot of people, this is the charm of Rainbow Six Siege. This is the reason why they got involved. This game has an incredibly high skill ceiling, but for anyone that is just getting started, it feels more like a mountain that they're gonna have to climb just so they can get to the point where they're enjoying the game. I would even argue that this is a problem for people who've been playing Siege since the very beginning. How many of you, and I'm assuming it's a fair amount because I get a ton of these types of questions from Mailbox, have wanted to just sit down with some friends and have a chill, relaxing night of Siege? But as soon as you do so, you come across the most sweaty tryhards you've ever experienced. They're crouch and lean spamming all over the place, they're holding the tightest angles, they're doing everything they can to win, and while there's nothing wrong with that, they can play the game however they want, it's really, really difficult to just kind of sit back, chill, and relax and play Siege. It doesn't really have that kind of atmosphere, and I just think it comes down to the game modes that are available. Now, there has been a few moments where this isn't been the case, and it's usually during the limited time events. Last Halloween is probably the best example. Everyone was running around with giant sledgehammers trying to take out people that were literally invisible. It wasn't ultra competitive. I mean, some people took it quite seriously, but at the end of the day, it was just meant to be fun. It was something completely different, and I think that was one of the more successful modes that they've ever introduced. Sadly, we haven't seen it since then, but this is one of the reasons why I wish they would try to do more of these kinds of things on a regular basis. This is the reason why I have been advocating for literally years now to add in some sort of TDM mode. Allow people a mode where they can jump in, spawn continuously even if they get taken out, and just enjoy the mechanics of Rainbow Six Siege. Not only would this just be amazing for new players, it'd finally give them environment to get comfortable with the game. You only have so many opportunities to take out other players in a normal match. There's only 5 people to try to take out, but in TDM, where you're constantly spawning on in, you can have more of those engagements, and so you're getting comfortable with the movements, you're going to be able to use the weapons on a more regular basis. It would just be a great way to practice. And then on top of that, even if you have been playing for a really long time, it would just give you something that you can play on a more casual basis. And so just in general, I completely agree with Shroud and Get Flanked on this topic. Siege is always going to be ultra hardcore, but I think that they could at least try to add in some modes in particular that would alleviate some of these issues. It's not going to go away entirely, and I don't think it would solve things altogether, but I do think that that would be a great step in the right direction. The next question comes from Robin, and it is, do you think that offense should have a checkpoint system when you're trying to plant the objective like in Valorant? Well, I will admit it has been a while since I played Valorant, but I'm guessing what you're talking about is that when you try to plant the objective, if you get to the halfway point and then you stop for whatever reason, you heard something, you thought someone was pressuring you, once you dealt with whatever that was, once you resume planting, it begins from that halfway mark. It's like a checkpoint, and so it makes it much more reliable and consistent to get the actual objective down. And so if they wanted to introduce something like this into Siege, it would have some pros and cons. The biggest thing is that this would be a pretty big buff to the offensive team, which admittedly at this point might be needed. I'm sure you guys are aware, but offense is having a really hard time right now because everything is so defensive favored. The meta right now revolves around what is defense bringing, you have to react to that on offense, and usually on most maps, you're going to be at a disadvantage. And so giving them that slight edge where you can begin a plant and then deal with what's happening around you while they try to pressure you, and then resuming the plants by that halfway mark could be a great way at kind of swinging things more in the favor of the offensive team in some situations. This also might have the side effect of just making the game more objective based. If people have now a larger incentive to get that plants off and not just go and play TDM essentially, which a lot of the rounds kind of devolve into, that could also be a nice benefit of this kind of adjustments. Now, the downside of it though is that this could have a lot of unexpected consequences when it comes to different operator mechanics. This would be a pretty big nerf to defense, and a lot of the operators like Smoke or people that are trying to deny plants like a Maestro or an Echo, this is going to make their job much more challenging. You would really need to be on the ball if you play as Smoke, for example. If you give them just a small little window, a couple of seconds, that might be enough to get them to that halfway mark, and while yeah, they may have taken a little bit of damage, they can run away, let your gadget run its course, and then resume. Once they resume, it's not going to take nearly as long to finish it up, and now the objective is down, and defense is going to be on the back foot, putting them at a huge disadvantage. Overall, though, I don't really know if this is needed. This isn't really a part of Siege that I think is broken or needs any big fundamental changes. It might come with some great benefits, and who knows, maybe this is exactly what we need to try to make things more objective based, but it could come with some big issues as well. And so let me know what you guys think on this topic. Do you think that this could be a great addition to Siege? Do you think that no, it should stay the way that it is? Why try to fix something that isn't broken? Give me your guys' thoughts down below. The next one comes from Ian, and it is, what do you think of a rework of the ping system where a soft ping is still a soft ping, but when you ping in an area where a player or a gadget is, it gets marked as if you hard pinged it? I feel as if the soft ping is a bit too strong and is slightly unfair. Oh, it's 100% unfair. I literally just made a video a couple days ago where I showcased that you can ping at someone's feet if they don't realize that the drone was nearby, and then you can take them out through the barricade or the soft wall, and there was no way for them to know that they were spotted. The reason why a long time ago that we didn't have the ability to soft ping with drones, or at least that's I figured why they didn't allow it, is for this very reason. If you wanted to spot someone, you always had to scan them, letting them know that they were scanned so that they can act accordingly. Now, thankfully, Ubisoft has acknowledged that this may be a problem, and they're going to be trying and experimenting with some ways to make this less frustrating. And one of them is that if you do decide to ping a character or anything, your drone is going to make some sort of noise. And so while you may not get a notification across your screen that you have been marked by a drone, you will be able in a corner hear that drone activating or making some sort of sound, letting you know that they have used that ping ability. And so then you can move around and hopefully not get wall banged. It may not be a perfect solution, but I do think that it would be at least helpful in those kinds of situations. In my opinion, I would just much rather them remove the soft ping entirely from those gadgets, cameras, and on drones. Allow them to scan or at least ping gadgets. I think that that's fine. That's great information to relay to your teammates, but I don't think you should be able to soft ping, but that is just my 2 cents. The next question is, what do you think about Ubisoft resetting your rank in the middle of the season? This would give people who play the game a second chance to get what rank they deserve and keep people playing the game. So if I'm being honest, I always felt it was kind of weird when games like Siege reset your rank consistently, because I feel like the entire system is designed to keep you playing with people that are around your same skill level. And so when you get these constant resets, you're always having to make those adjustments and grind to where you should always be. Like a diamond player being reset down to gold, now playing gold players is weird. Like, those gold players aren't going to have fun. The diamond player may not even have fun unless they just enjoy having easy matches. Now, for some people, they really enjoy this because it gives them a sense of progression. It makes them feel like they're getting better. It's a way for them to track their progress, but I always thought it was kind of odd. Now, I will admit that this is one way to make sure that if you leave the game for an extended period and then you come back, you're not going to be paired up with diamonds. If you take a 6-month break, you're probably not at that same level. And so to have a rank reset where now you're further down does make a lot of sense. And so with all that being said, at least for me, I wouldn't want to have the ranks reset in the middle of the season. I could be the odd one out. Maybe all of you think that this is a great idea. You really enjoy that grind, but I don't think that it's really necessary. But yeah, guys, that is what it for today's episode of Monday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about what we discussed in today's video. Would you like the ranks to reset more consistently? Why or why not? Give me your guys' thoughts down below. As always, if you'd like to submit your own question for an upcoming episode, you can also leave a comment or by sending me a Facebook or Twitter message. But until next time, guys, have a good one and take it easy.